Hello, everybody. It's Mrs. Pound, and we are studying Chapter 2.1 on viruses from Purposeful Designs Life Science. The section we're going to cover today is Section 212 on virus reproduction. Our objectives are to summarize the method that viruses can use to replicate themselves and identify 3 ways in which viruses infect their host cells. So a viral infection, you probably all had a viral infection. So how does it happen? A viral infection is the penetration of a virus or its nucleic acid into a host cell. So it's basically an invasion. Viruses are classified by shape and type of organism infected. So that's something we commonly see with them. A bacteriophage is a virus that infects bacteria. So we see that in its name, bacteria, infects bacteria. And this is typically what a bacteriophage looks like. A virus that infects bacteria enters the cell by attaching its protein coat to the cell wall and injecting its genetic material from the bottom of it here. It looks kind of like something that would land on the moon or something, right? Some kind of space vehicle. Bacteriophages reproduce themselves by injecting their nucleic acid material into a host cell. Then the nucleic acids take over the cell, giving instructions to replicate the viral parts. And the parts reassemble into a virus. And finally, the bacterial cell dies, bursts open, and releases the virus. So the virus takes over the cell and makes it do what it wants to do. Because remember, cells are like factories, so it takes over the factory. A virus that infects animals enters cells by being engulfed actually by the host cell. So different viruses enter the cells differently depending on the type of organism it is. Now, retroviruses, this is a virus that carries its genetic materials in the form of RNA. It hides in its host cell's DNA. An example is HIV/AIDS. This is actually why initially they had a hard time discovering what caused AIDS because it was hiding in the body's immune system. So they had a very hard time finding it. Steps in retrovirus reproduction are: 1, the retrovirus invades the cell. So we can see here it's going into the cell. The virus RNA changes to viral DNA. So here it's RNA, see it's single-stranded, becomes DNA double-stranded. Then the viral DNA is inserted actually into the host cell genetic material. So here it inserts itself into the host cell's DNA. Then the viral DNA replicates. So here we have the RNA being reproduced, and it's making new retroviruses out here that get sent out. And new retroviruses are produced. Now, no, viruses do not always destroy the host cell's genetic material when they take over. They don't always destroy the cells. So the host can continue to live. It actually would not be advantageous to all the viruses for them to always kill the host. So, in summary, the basic way in which viruses replicate themselves. Viruses penetrate a host cell and take it over. They instruct the host cell to make new viral parts because a cell is really kind of like a factory. So they take over the factory. And 3, the parts are reassembled into new viruses, just like in a factory that makes, say, cars. So our objectives today were to summarize the method that viruses use to replicate themselves and identify 3 ways in which viruses infect their host cells. So don't forget your 5 questions and your notes, and remember to continue watching to answer the questions at the end.